Hello everyone, this is Miss Wig here. I'm going to read for you today an extract from a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, starting with book the first, The Bad Beginning. This is a book I very much enjoyed reading through my childhood, and that's why I want to share it with you today. They have also made it into a TV series, so it's definitely worth a watch and a read. It's made up of 13 books, and what these poor children go through does just make the story even better, but it's definitely worth a read. Here we go. So the blurb first of all. Dear reader, I'm sorry to say that the book you are holding in your hand is extremely unpleasant. It tells an unhappy tale about three very unlucky children. Even though they are charming and clever, the Baudelaire siblings lead lives filled with misery and woe. From the very first page of this book, when the children are at the beach and receive terrible news, continuing on through the entire story, disaster lurks at their heels. One might say they are magnets for misfortune. In this short book alone, the three youngsters encounter a greedy and repulsive villain, itchy clothing, a disastrous fire, a plot to steal their fortune, and cold porridge for breakfast. It is my sad duty to write down these unpleasant tales, but there is nothing stopping you from putting this book down at once and reading something happy, if you prefer that sort of thing. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket. So let's read chapter 1 of the series of unfortunate events. If you are interested in stories with happy endings, you would be better off reading some other book. In this book, not only is there no happy ending, there is no happy beginning and very few happy things in the middle. This is because not very many happy things happened in the lives of the three Baudelaire youngsters. Violet, Klaus and Sonny Beaudelaire were intelligent children, and they were charming and resourceful and had pleasant facial features, but they were extremely unlucky, and most everything that happened in their life was rife with misfortune, misery and despair. I'm sorry to tell you this, but that is how the story goes. Their misfortune began one day at Briny Beach. The three Baudelaire children lived with their parents in an enormous mansion at the heart of a dirty and busy city, and occasionally their parents gave them permission to take a rickety trolley. The word rickety, you probably know, here means unsteady or likely to collapse, along to the seashore, where they would spend the day as a sort of vacation as long as they were home for dinner. This particular morning it was grey and cloudy, which didn't bother the Baudelaire youngsters one bit. When it was hot and sunny, Briny Beach was crowded with tourists, and it was impossible to find a good place to lay one's blanket. On grey and cloudy days, the Baudelaires had the beach to themselves to do what they liked. Violet Beaudelaire, the eldest, liked to skip rocks. Like most 14-year-olds, she was right-handed, so the rock skipped further across the murky water when Violet used her right hand than when she used her left. As she skipped rocks, she was looking out at the horizon and thinking about an invention she wanted to build. Anyone who knew Violet could tell she was thinking hard, because her long hair was tied up in a ribbon to keep it out of her eyes. Violet had a real knack for inventing and building strange devices, so her brain was often filled with images of pulleys, levers and gears, and she never wanted to be distracted by something as trivial as her hair. This morning she was thinking about how to construct a device that would retrieve a rock after you had skipped it into the ocean. Klaus Beaudolaire, the middle child and the only boy, liked to examine creatures in tide pools. Klaus was a little older than 12 and wore glasses, which made him look intelligent. He was intelligent. The Baudelaire parents had an enormous library in their mansion, a room filled with thousands of books on nearly every subject. Being only 12, Klaus, of course, had not read all of the books in the Baudelaire library, but he had read a great many of them and had retained a lot of the information from his readings. He knew how to tell an alligator from a crocodile. He knew who killed Julius Caesar, and he knew much about the tiny slimy animals found at Briny Beach, which he was examining now. Sonny Beaudelaire, the youngest, liked to bite things. She was an infant and very small for her age, scarcely larger than a boot. What she lacked in size, however, she made up for with the size and sharpness of her 4 teeth. Sonny was at an age when one mostly speaks in a series of unintelligible shrieks, except when she used a few actual words in her vocabulary, like bottle, mummy and bite. Most people had trouble understanding what it was that Sonny was saying. For instance, this morning she was saying gack over and over, which probably meant look at that mysterious figure emerging from the fog. Sure enough, in the distance, along the misty shore of briny beach, there could be seen a tall figure striding toward the Baudelaire children. Sunny had always been staring and shrieking at the figure for some time when Klaus looked up from the spiny crab he was examining, and he saw it too. He reached over and touched Violet's arm, bringing her out of her inventing thoughts. "Look at that," Klaus said, and pointed toward the figure. It was drawing closer, and the children could see a few details. It was about the size of an adult, except his head was tall and rather square. "What do you think it is?" Violet asked. "I don't know," Klaus said, squinting at it, but it seemed to be moving right toward us. "We were alone on the beach," Violet said, a little nervously. "There's nobody else it could be moving toward." And I'll let you continue the story. Thank you. Enjoy.